Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Your Excellency, sir, on behalf of the board and management of the Nigerian Exchange Group, I sincerely thank Your Excellency for granting us the privilege of this audience, sir. We are here today not only to pay our respects, but also to share the remarkable progress that Nigeria capital market has recorded under your administration, and to reaffirm our commitment to supporting your vision of building a stronger, more resilient, and globally competitive Nigerian economy. Your administration bold economic reforms have reshaping investor perception, not only in Nigeria but Africa, Your Excellency. While reforms of this nature are never without challenges, market response to policy consistency, clarity of direction, and institutional confidence, these are qualities that investors increasingly associated with Nigeria today. Your Excellency, let me digress a little. We were at the London Stock Exchange last week. I was on the panel. The moderator uncle asked me, Mr. Chairman, what are you doing at the Nigeria Stock Exchange that you have turned around that NGX within this shortest possible time, that you are now #1 on the returns of investment? I told them leadership. But I said the leadership is not leadership of Umaru Kwairanga as the chairman of NGX, it's leadership of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu for the reforms you have brought, Your Excellency. I told them for the first time, Your Excellency, we have a president that's not only a politician, but is a businessman. That from day one, he took bold reforms that are necessary, that have turned around our economy and have opened Nigeria for business. And we believe, for us at the Nigerian Exchange Group, like what other ministers have mentioned, the $1 trillion economy is achievable. We have the capacity, we have the resources, we have made investment, both in material and resources. We are together, Your Excellency, will achieve that within, even before the 2030, with your support, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, the capital market remains one of Nigeria's most powerful yet underutilized engines for economic transformation. It provides long-term financing for businesses, supports infrastructure development, creates wealth for citizens, and broadens economic participation. A vibrant capital market enables enterprises to scale, reduces resilience on short-term financing, and channels savings into productive investment that drives sustainable growth. As the operator of the Nigerian foremost exchange infrastructure, NGX Group remains committed to deepening our market through innovation, technology, and greater accessibility. Recent incentives that we did, including the T+1, extending of our trading period, has opened NGX to compete with any other stock exchanges in the world. Your Excellency, with your kind permission, we have come with a presentation to show you where we are coming from when you took over in the last 3 years, that we have not only doubled the market capitalization, but we tripled the market capitalization based on the decision and the reforms you have taken. A lot have been done. You have made a lot of billionaires that you have done, that you don't know, Excellency. We'll give you the statistics today, so that you see how you touch the lives of the Nigerians. The entrepreneurs that have become richer the quoted companies that with your support and the CBN governors recapitalization exercise that they have done, which 80% of that have done through our exchange, through what we call a platform NGX Invest, it was successful. And it's the youth of this Nigeria that now constitute over 50% of those people that are participating in the Nigerian capital market. And when you look at the history, Excellency, by 2050, as you know better than us, that 1 out of every 4 citizens in the world will be going to be Africa. And that person must be a Nigerian. So we have invested for that future. We are together with you, Your Excellency. And on this note, I will invite the group CEO so that he can give us the statistics. But before doing that, Your Excellency, you can recall, at the beginning of your administration, we were at NASDAQ with you, where you make promises to international investors what you intend to do. You have been vindicated, Your Excellency. From day one, we at the NGS, we key into that plans, and there's no regret. We are inviting you to go to the NGS so that we can give the platform, you can tell the success stories of what we have achieved in the last 3 to 4 years, and what are the plans for now to 2031, so that Nigerians can see what we are planning. What we have done at the NGS is just the beginning. You be rest assured we are together, we achieve the $1 trillion economy. We will make sure that at the end of the day, whatever are the policies that you have, we are going to key in on that. We need that environment, we need that support that you have done, and you be rest assured with your background, we are together. Thank you, Excellency, for listening. We appreciate it.
The first area, Mr. President, is really today's picture. The first bullet point to leave you with, sir, to the picture today is that when you took over office in May 2023, the total value of the companies that were listed in Nigeria was just shy of 30 trillion naira. 30 trillion naira. Today, Mr. President, that figure is 160 trillion. And by the end of this year, with the listing that we expect in our market, we expect that figure to be 230 trillion. So this is the first bullet point on today's picture. It's gone from 30 trillion to hopefully 230 trillion by the end of this year. This is just pure fact and pure data. The second bullet point, Mr. President, is just what we call the all-share index. This is the measure of the market and performance and growth that we see. When you took over office, Mr. President, that figure was 52,000. It's just a metric that we track, 52,000. Today, that figure is 244,000. As a matter of fact, when we broached 100,000, people didn't know how to calculate it anymore because it's not something that we're used to seeing. And today it's 240,000, and this is pure data. This is bullet point number 2, Mr. President. Number 3, Mr. President, is that tied to all of this then is a lot of wealth that has been created for people. Unfortunately, we can't get the exact statistic, but we estimate that somewhere between 500 to 900,000 millionaires have been created in this country as a result of some of these moves that I've spoken about. So that's bullet point number 3. Mr. President, the fourth bullet point as to where we are is just the corporate earnings. The companies in this country are doing materially better today versus how they did in May 2023. And we have some data. I think the office of the chairman of the Revenue Service also put out some data recently that we corroborated. So whether you look at MTN, who has gone from just 200 billion 2023 to over 1 trillion now in their profits. You look at Dangote, it's gone from 240 to almost 1 trillion as well in their profits. And the story goes on and on for Aradel, for Seplat, for many of these corporates. Wealth is being created not just for retail investors and people, but also for the corporates. I will move on to topic number 2, Mr. President, which is really what has driven these moves that we are speaking about. What is the driver behind this? Of the many factors, we've picked out 4 things. The first, Mr. President, is you'd remember that you signed the ISA into law in 2025. This was a material piece of legislation. Our market trades on confidence. It trades on just an enabling environment. And so when you look at the vision you said about the $1 trillion economy to this ISA, it singularly has just opened up, I would say, the nature of our capital markets. That's bullet point number 1. In 2023, the market, some people would argue, was already almost over the edge. And the big driver of that was the FX situation that we found ourselves. With your kind intervention, this policy single-handedly, we can say, is responsible for all of this phenomenal growth that we are seeing. Bullet point number 3, Mr. President, is about the nature of our markets and the economy, without really picking out that banking sector reform. Because one of the things that he did was to prove what we all thought was impossible, which was that this country locally can finance itself. It's an argument we had always made, that Africa should be able to finance itself. And when the central bank set these targets for the banks, many of us thought it was very difficult to achieve. Over 4 trillion naira was raised since that reform was announced, really all mainly domestic. And by the time we're done this year, there's another 1 to 1.4 trillion naira worth of more capital tied to 1 or 2 banks that we expect to be raised also mainly locally. So when you see all that kind of capital mobilization, it has really led to this step that we have seen. And number 4, Mr. President, on this topic is the digital transformation. The exchange, working with the regulators, working with the central bank and the entire ecosystem, we've made an opportunity to put the capital markets on everybody's phone. It's a vision we always had, to say that why can it not be possible for every Nigerian to pick up their mobile phone? The transformation we've seen in the banking sector, why can't we have that in the capital markets, that you can buy shares and buy bonds and do that easily? We took a very material step on that, again, around the banking sector capitalization. We got access to NABs, access to the entire ecosystem, and that really opened that up. And we expect this year, with this big IPO that's coming up, it will be the first time ever in the history of this country that all the banks, all the fintechs will be plugged into this ecosystem, that every single Nigerian can own a piece of the capital market. The third bullet topic, Mr. President, as I spoke earlier, as to what can the future be if we continue in this trajectory. And it's a very bright future, Mr. President, if we take the right intentional steps. The first, Mr. President, is that for the ambition that you have, about $1 trillion, it needs capital to finance it. And the capital market can finance a big chunk of that. It's very, very important, subject to the right things. The number 2 thing, Mr. President, the future of wealth creation. I spoke about the millionaires that have been created already. Many, many more of that can be done. Not just at the millionaire level, but to the very last man on the street, to the bottom of the pyramid. A lot of wealth can be created through markets if intentionally done. And number 3, Mr. President, is that the capital markets also can be the Nigerian capital markets can be an African hub of capital, because as we see that the rest of the world dries up in supplying capital to Africa, all of this domestic capital mobilization that we're seeing has a lot of African countries now looking to Nigeria for direction, for liquidity. The other day we gathered CEOs of many African exchanges here in Lagos on this topic. So if we're intentional, Mr. President, our country can be a platform and a place for capital mobilization on the continent. And number 4, Mr. President, is infrastructure. A lot of your ambitions and ideas around infrastructure, the markets can finance. I conclude, Mr. President, with the 4th pillar, which is really then 4 asks that we have of you, Mr. President. So if you remember anything from what I've said, Mr. President, this is the most important. This is our wish list, Mr. President. The first, Mr. President, is what we call privatization and listings. The markets that we have today really also came into light because of intentionality by government at the time. You would remember, sir, in the 70s, we had the indigenization program. Many of your Nestle's and Unilevers and these companies only came to the markets as a result. MTN, the big telecommunications company that we talk about today, that's a big part of the exchange, also only came as a result of government efforts. And we're asking, Mr. President, firstly for your support in this regard. There are a few companies that we have identified, companies like LMA Petrochemicals, like Indorama. These are companies, and NLNG. These are companies that somewhere in their clauses already are listing clauses for some of them, or some of them just in the hands of government to say, look, NLNG, let's list our stake on the exchange, or perhaps Indorama or LMA, or some assets that the NNPC owns in its portfolio. So, Mr. President, with your kind support, that would be one item that we would really like your support around. And number 2, Mr. President, is also to bring to your attention something that we're seeing happen recently that we could do with some support, which is an idea of companies who do business in Nigeria. They earn a lot of their profits in Nigeria, but they take that wealth abroad, to list on other exchanges. Most countries have the government of the day, not to say they shouldn't go abroad, no, it's a free market, but also to allow locals participate in this wealth that they're creating. Some of these fintechs come to mind, like OPay, like PalmPay. There are a few of them who are considering listings abroad. To bring to your attention, Mr. President, that as a nation, as a capital market, we could do with some support that says, look, while we encourage free open markets, let's make sure that our locals also can benefit from that. And so perhaps dual listings. As they list abroad, they should also list in our country. Number three, Mr. President, of our asks. Number three is the capital gains tax. Mr. President, one of the beautiful reforms I would say that government has done of so many is this capital gains tax. We are firm believers as Nigerians. We all cite the statistics that the internally generated revenue as a portion of GDP is very low. Of course, one of the ways you then improve that is through taxes. So we are all for taxes. But Mr. President, just want to mention to you that there are parts of the capital gains tax reform that we would wish another look around, particularly for some of our foreign investors. Because, Mr. President, one of the things that we're seeing happen now is that these investors are going to London. Nigerian corporates are going to London as well to list there. The foreign investors get exposure to them there, but there's no capital gains taxes there. So if we're not careful, our country becomes a local listing for local investors and the foreign investors go away. So we're not asking for it to be abolished, we're just asking that perhaps a bit more re-looking at it and finding ways to optimize it, Mr. President.
Bigly is now globally known that the greatest gift to this republic is the gift of Mr. President, because everything starts and ends with leadership. Now, we've seen the figure, we've seen what we've said, and my boss is here on capital gain tax, and you made mention of what we've done in taxes, and then we've looked at that, and then I know he has proposal on how to get this one resolved. So we are open, as he said at the beginning of the presentation, that we are open. Just imagine, and things I think you can capture all in the same way. The first tax law in Nigeria was done in 1923. From that period till when Mr. President comes, nobody, whether military, colonial, has done anything in the tax system. So it takes Mr. President courage and patriotism, not minding what politics will say, to focus and face this headlong. And then all of us can see the result. I just shared one with CBN Governor, which Mr. President also actually authorized, the one you quoted, because it is Mr. President work that saw what has happened in the company compared to where we are last year. You can see that all which you've mentioned have increased, and this is top 10, not minding what has happened to the rest. So the one which is key that is also omitted here is removal of subsidy, because it is re-foundation. This is distortion that has affected this economy in the last 40 years. The courage to remove it in less than 1 hour of this assumption of office is the background, is the bedrock, is the fundamental. And that is why I get worried when I listen to some people and they say the economy and everything. I ask them the question. Just ask them, what would they do differently? Mr. President, I don't want you to wonder. You've elevated the system for what they know or they can understand. So when you see their comments, you will see that it is far, far below, because the level, just imagine, from 50 to 240, if you see this figure, they cannot imagine it. But we will continue to take time to educate them on the level that the country is going. So with this short remark, Mr. President, I can only congratulate you and be open to you that we are ready. All you ask, with the permission of Mr. President, we will get them resolved. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. If you don't mind, I will stand on existing protocol. Two things I would talk about and more or less emphasize a couple of things that were said here. One is the issue of the banking sector recapitalization. And I remember the time we first announced this, there was a lot of skepticism. People didn't think it was possible. And now it was done very successfully. And like we identified, about 75%, close to 75% of the total was domestic resources. In the past, it was the other way around. So that really shows that from the time that announcement was made till the time it was concluded, the sector had confidence coming in, both locally and domestically, and more importantly, domestically, quite frankly. So I think that is something that we're extremely proud about, and we're very happy that NGX was up to the task, and SEC also played a very major role in ensuring that it went off seamlessly, and everybody is very happy with the result. Second to that is the issue of stability. And again, to harp on something that Chairman FRS said, really and truly, when people talk about how does this transmit to the man on the street or to the general populace, my response to that, quite frankly, is that without stability, you don't get the investments you are talking about. And without the investments you are talking about, you don't get growth. So it's a fundamental piece of that jigsaw. If you don't get it, all the other things we are talking about and where we want to land as a country is not going to happen. And that is part of what has given a lot of confidence to foreign investors who in the past, and let's think back about it really, in the past, you had a situation where for a period of time, it may appear that Naira is stable. Then devaluation comes in, it's boom and bust, boom and bust. Now, like Chairman rightly said, those are things of the past because we have done the plumbing. The real issues that have plagued the economy for so long, we have done them. We have looked at them, we have taken them apart, and we have put it together in a way and manner that is sustainable.
Capital market, which has experienced significant growth over the past few years, especially in the past 3 years as a result of the reforms of Your Excellency. So much so that today the NGX or the capital market in Nigeria is the best performing in the world. And the capital market, Your Excellency, is one of the fastest ways to create wealth for millions of Nigerians. And along with the Securities and Exchange Commission as the regulator, we have seen these improvements. And we know that they're working on different innovations, particularly how to attract young people into the market. For example, many of our young people still spend the little money they have investing in virtual assets and sometimes in gambling, whereas they can make more money with full tax exemption from the capital market. So this innovation is one area where we think that the SEC and the NGX can make more progress. We also want to encourage them to do everything possible, including simplification of listings, so that we can see more primary listings. Because when the market is doing well, but we don't have sufficient primary listing, the existing investors get richer, but the companies don't get new money to be able to finance their development. We also believe that based on the other reforms of Your Excellency to stimulate growth within the economy, including developing the credit economy, reducing the cost of capital, as the overall economy grows and businesses thrive, the capital market would indeed do very well. So from the government side, the commitment to ensure that we have a conducive investment environment with predictability and consistency is an assurance that we can give today. And in that light, and given the $1 trillion economy target of Mr. President by the year 2030, we think that the NGX and the SEC should equally have a target to grow the market to $1 trillion. With the level of growth we have seen over the past 3 years, and with the strategic listing of many of the choice investments of the government, as well as encouraging more private sector businesses to list, we believe that this growth is indeed possible. On the African continent, South African market is the largest and is currently over $1 trillion. So we certainly can at least do the same, and maybe very soon, another 10 years, we should be able to exceed the level of South Africa. So we are open to feedback, not just from the NGX and SEC, but also from the investors, the businesses, and your other stakeholders, to continue to fine-tune our policies to make sure they are not only just attractive, but they are globally competitive. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, those are my remarks.
It is a thing of joy to have this feedback. When we took over, it was very challenging. What I did was talk to myself and define my background, accept the asset and liability of my predecessor. I asked for the job. I got to do it. And a capable partner in one of the thinking and reasoning has been Yemi Kadoso. So who can I put in CBN? We are in negative. If we say we have monetary policy or the reserve, it was in negative. You have 30 trillion printed and outstanding liability. There is no counterpart and hope of repayment. So, sincerely, Yemi, thank you very much. Congratulations. So, the rest of the team is just the fact that we owe a duty to the country and self-belief that this is doable. Nigeria can build a nation of prosperity by itself. So if the stock market is doing well, we are doing well.
Definitely, it's the middle of the economy, sir.
If we can teach this in the classroom to our undergraduates, if they can be in the classroom without harrowing of where to pay, what to pay, and how they do it, we can build a nation of succession and prosperity that is our own. If we encourage the private sector to invest and invest wisely, take a risk. It's one of the reasons why I backed Aliko Dangote
Thank you very much.
Even before I became president,
Yes,
and, may God bless the soul of Mamadou Buhari. When we were talking, this refinery and all of that,
yes, sir.
why should we have this? Okay, we find a way. If we can push it to the private sector, if we can support the private sector, it will be a great benefit. And they did it, so fine. And when I came in, I said, okay, Naira for the crude, let's stabilize the currency, and no need for letters of credit and paperwork. Let's build a trust that can work. And it's not a unrealizable ambition to push Nigeria. We have the population, the brain, the
Resources.
audacity
Yes.
to shoot for $1 trillion economy. It's achievable. It's achievable. You look at yourself and you ask questions. What are we producing that other nations do? How do we collaborate with other countries? How do we get this listening down like you have identified? Before asking is not a big problem. We look at it. The expansion is for all for us. I could look back and look at Aramco and others and see how the oil producing of Saudi Arabia was, the life of publicly quoted company. We can refine and do NNPC, reform to the extent that one day the totality of it, not just the arms and legs, the totality of it will be listed on there. Thank you all to all the revenue service and many other people in the team for what we are doing. My own is assure you that I won't stop reading.
Yes, sir.
I won't stop thinking.
Yes, sir.
I won't stop supporting you.
Thank you very much.
I'm here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daddy. All right.